Alright guys, so Pro Football Focus, George McGinnis, put out his preseason awards for the best players who played the best in preseason. Now listen, I understand it's preseason, but at the end of the day, a lot of these guys are either players that might not have much play time, are finally getting play time, or just showing off in preseason, making a name for themselves, and absolutely being a stud. Now, here's how he has it set up. First off, he has every single position, the best player from preseason in those positions, but then he has specific awards. So just because these are the best players at each position does not mean they win the awards. The 3 awards you have is the best offense, the best defense, and I believe it's the best edge rusher. So we're going to look at those in a second, but yes, for offense, we didn't win any, and let's be honest, it makes sense. Our quarterback situation was kind of crap this preseason. Same thing with the offensive line. Jake Browning looked good, but Trevor Siemian looked absolutely garbage. Our offensive line, week 1, looked horrendous. Week 2 and 3, it got better, but still wasn't really that great. So our offense really struggled. The only player I would say who could have won this would be Yoshi. But in all honesty, I mean, there were only 2 receivers, and he had 27 targets and 130 yards and only 1 touchdown. If he would have had that 1 touchdown, or 2 touchdowns actually, I think it was. 1 touchdown week 1, that was a big pass down the field that got broken up. No, he caught it, but he caught it out of bounds. If he caught that, and that would have been an extra like 35, 40-yard touchdown, and let's say he caught, hypothetically speaking, another touchdown, he probably would have gotten the wide receiver reward. And he might have gotten the AFC, or the player of the preseason offensive award. That's what I'm trying to say. So, but sadly, he did not. Now, defensively, the only player we have on here is actually Tyson Anderson. And this is another reason why, yes, I know it's preseason, but this is why it's so amazing. Even though it's preseason, you have a guy who last season, right, didn't get much play time. He had to deal with injuries. He wasn't able to get in camp because of injuries. He was a backup behind Von Bell, Jesse Bates, Dax Hill, Michael Thomas, so he didn't get any, experience with playing. And then finally, he now gets experience all training camp. In the preseason, he gets two picks and 1 pick 6 in the first week. Actually, he had 2 picks the first week? No, he had 1 pick. No, I think he did. He had 2 picks, 1 pick 6 and 1 pick. And he played really great the rest of the preseason. So, absolute monster player. Making a name for yourself, really stepping up, going beyond the Call of Duty there, and just dominating. Gotta freaking love that. Anyway, though, for the rewards we have, or I keep saying rewards, I meant to say awards. The Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver did go ahead and get the offensive player. But for the defensive player, the best defensive player in preseason, it goes to Tyson Anderson. And you know what's crazy about that? Let me just tell you this right now, right? So, there are 32 teams in the NFL, right? There are 90 men on this roster in preseason because you don't have to cut down until today. So, that is 2,880 players in the league. Now, you might say, okay, well, let's say half of them are on defense. It's not evenly half, but realistically speaking, let's just say half of them are defensive. 1,440 players on defense, right? Out of 1,440 players, he was the best. Just let that sink in. I understand it's preseason. I understand, yeah, he didn't put up some crazy, numbers. I'm sorry, he's not the best player of all time. This is not regular season where he's putting up crazy numbers in the regular season. But out of 1,400 people, you're the best player. That's some volume right there. That's some volume right there. So it says right here, Anderson finished the preseason with a 91.7 Pro Football Focus coverage grade, primarily driven by his performance in the Bengals opener. He caught 2 interceptions versus the Packers in the contest, which he returned for a touchdown. And again, like I said, that's insane, man. I mean, there's people who are not football players. Well, even football players, right? When you win, MVP, right? There's only you and usually, 6 or 7 people in MVP race. Maybe 10 people. And usually it's the best players in the league, right? So you 1 out of 10 have a chance 1 out of 10 to go ahead and win it. This is 1 in 1,440 players. Which, again, is almost impossible to think. because there is so many players who, it's preseason, okay? They might have better situations than you. They might be going into this game where, they get to play all 4 quarters. There are some rookies / younger players who get to play every single quarter of the game. Or, again, younger players. So they actually have more play time than you might have, Tyson Anderson. But yet Tyson Anderson took every single snap he had, every single play time he had to really make plays. And I know they said that he got this mainly because of the fact that it was driven by the 2 interceptions against the Packers and a pick 6. But in all honesty, I feel like, yes, it was driven by those 2 plays because those are the 2 splash plays, the highlight plays, the plays you talk about. But at the end of the day, it's also his performance throughout training camp and preseason. Not training camp, preseason. Because if he was to have gotten destroyed the rest of preseason, I don't think he would have won this award. I think he would have been like, okay, well, you had a really good game week 1, but you looked really trash week 2 and week 3. So even though, yeah, he might not have made splash plays the next 2 plays, he still got really good tackles, really good, pass deflections, and he was good in coverage. So the other ones we have here is rookie of preseason edge rusher, which, again, the Steelers got it again. And then we have offensive line of preseason, which was the Chicago Bears. And if there was a kind of funny joke award where it's like the worst offensive line in preseason, I don't think we would have gotten the worst, but I think we would have gotten up there for, a bad offensive line. It was a mess. And then again, it didn't help that we had poor quarterback play. So it was like poor quarterback play, poor offensive line play, and again, we had no starters. At the end of the day, it is what it is. But I gotta say, overall wise, I am so proud of Tyson Anderson. I am so happy for him. And, going into this year, that was the scariest thing, right? Is we don't know what's going to happen with the safety position. Anything could happen. It could work out, awfully. We could go into the season and our safeties are trash and we're getting beat every single play. Because Jordan Battle couldn't work out. Dax Hill didn't work out. Obviously Michael Thomas now is gone. But Tyson Anderson didn't work out, etc., like Nick Scott. So it could have happened, right? But instead, we have guys who are really showing that, even though that they're going against animosity here, right? They're going against a very tough matchup. They're going against something that, many players might not be able to successfully transition from, like, again, Dax Hill from a backup to a starter. 1 year. You are now the starter. Nick Scott, I will say a little bit, he came in from free agency. But Tyson Anderson, last year you dealt with injuries in training camp. You weren't playing much. Now you're the starter, right? It's not easy. Jordan Battle, rookie to the starter too. So again, it's just amazing to see how these guys have really took the challenge that was put upon them and really made the most of it. So again, like I said, I just want to say shout out to him for that. Tyson Anderson, you are a W, my guy. See you guys next one. Peace out.